that you want? I'm confused. Tell me, are you wanting cash flow today? Do you have a job, or is this for later? Because if it's for later, your decision's going to be very different than if you want cash flow today. With real estate, you can be actively involved. You can be a lender. You can be a flipper, a wholesaler. You could be a real estate agent. So many things that you can do that actively create income for you to spend today to cover your net. But if you only focus on that, you're not thinking about your future when you don't want to have to work, right? So no matter what your active income is today, a portion of that needs to be set aside for the future. And I can't think of a better way than through real estate. So once we're clear, what are we buying? Maybe we have a vehicle that brings us cash flow today, but there's another one that needs to bring us cash flow later. They're going to be different. So today I'm going to be talking about the different, the one that you're going to want to take care of you, to take you across the country, the one that is going to be quality that in years to come is going to feed you. It's going to keep feeding you. Not an old car, not like buying an old car that's going to break down every mile. That is not going to be the dream. The dream is something else, right? A beautiful, enjoyable ride. The problem is, I did this on AI. I'm just like super proud because it's terrible, but it's something. Learning, banana. The problem is you live here, right? That's the problem. Like, I'm jealous of some of our friends in Indianapolis and places where you can actually invest in your neighborhood. Well, good luck. And I'm going to talk about my neighborhood and why it sucks for investing. But, people who live in these cash flow markets, like, they've got it made that way, but we've got it made every other way. Sorry. Sunshine and summer and January, right? And fires. I mean, who else has got that? So the problem is we live here and we're busy. How many people have full-time jobs? Okay. How many people have kids? Go to the gym, cook dinner. Where do you have time to go find a property and renovate it and manage contractors? If you're managing your own rentals, the fixing things, maybe you don't have the money to buy the ridiculously expensive properties locally. $200,000 for a down payment, you could buy a full house somewhere else. And you just don't have the time. So that's the problem. Worse is like making a mistake where you bought locally, and I use this example. How many people were here when I spoke last week? So I apologize, I'm using some of the same slides, but I'm gonna just drive this point home. This was somebody who listened to the Real Wealth show, heard me talk about how great real estate is, and was like, I'm just calling to say you're wrong, real estate's awful, I bought these 3 houses in Stockton, they don't cash flow, they're terrible. And she's right. If you buy in California and try to cash flow, you're not gonna be buying in the best neighborhoods. And she was cash flowing, but of the negative variety, right? Anybody have one of those? Like, that's how it works here. These were in bad parts of town. They were bleeding her. She's feeding them every month. That is not what we want. So just real quick, I'm going to go back. I'm going to fly through these slides to give context to San Antonio and why I like that market. One of a lot of markets that we like at Real Wealth. But 2004, I was so lucky to get good advice early on in my career from Robert Kiyosaki, the great, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. How awesome that he wanted to be on my San Francisco radio show. And, I got to have one-on-one conversations with him frequently. And I learned very early the fundamentals that we still use today, and it's not complicated. And again, this is for building wealth. This is not for your daily bread, okay? Their daily bread is a different thing. That's your money, that's your job. This is for building wealth and future passive income where you don't have to work. He taught me the basics that we use today, which is investing in areas that have diversified job growth. I can't emphasize this enough. I fell under the spell of North Dakota when that area was booming 10 years ago. Remember that? Their oil boom, people, all these workers, they were living in their cars. I was like, oh man, let's invest there. Well, I teach people to invest in diversified areas, and that is not diversified, it's just oil. And a year after we invested there, guess what? OPEC lowered prices and our oil industry imploded. And we're stuck with properties in an area where no one lives anymore. So diversified job growth, very important. Wait, let me go back. I don't know how. I don't even know if I can. Let's see there. Okay, nope. Yep. Okay. Population growth, another problem people make all the time is, oh, I found a really great deal on this property. It was so cheap. Well, guess what? It was cheap for a reason. No one wants it. Right? Everything's expensive everywhere. So if you found a cheap property, you're the dummy. The person selling it is like, hallelujah. Right? So I have done this too many times thinking I got a great deal in an area that will never be anything. They are not proactive. They're not bringing in jobs. No one wants to live there. And I'm sorry, but real estate is dependent on people. You need people for real estate to be worth anything. So make sure you go to places like city-data.com to find out if there's job growth and population growth, because your property will be worthless if these aren't there. I did it again. Infrastructure growth. Because an area is growing with jobs and people, they need roads, they need schools, they need hospitals. Guess what? That's more workers, that's more people that have to go build those things. So these areas just boom, and more housing is needed. And the fourth one is the most important part. If you can get all those first three, but it's still affordable, you have hit the jackpot. What am I trying to say? You have found the money. This is the secret, is to find a place that's still affordable because nobody knows about it, but all this stuff is happening, but nobody knows yet. So that is the secret. When he explains